Hello, and welcome to Pulsar Insights. On May 7th, we took a look at how national security starts at the source, and as defense budgets soar, helium matters more than ever. As global conflict escalates and alliances harden, national security strategies are being redrawn, not just around borders, but around supply chains. Donald Trump recently proposed a record-breaking $1 trillion national security budget, the largest in the country's history. His proposal follows a global trend as worldwide military spending surged to $2.7 trillion in 2024, marking the steepest annual rise since the Cold War. Investor behavior is beginning to mirror this strategic shift. A recent uptick in U.S. interest around Pulsar's upcoming flow tests suggests growing recognition of its unique position as the only helium developer with assets in both the United States and Greenland. In a world where governments are actively reshoring manufacturing and supply chains, proximity to critical materials like helium is more than an advantage. It's a strategic imperative. Pulsar's early investors have already positioned themselves ahead of the curve, capitalizing on helium's rising profile in both national security and technological advancement. As the world wakes up to the reality that next-gen innovation relies on rare materials like helium, investor momentum looks set to accelerate. On May 14th, we learned how scientists at MIT captured the first images of quantum interactions. MIT researchers have captured the first-ever images of quantum interactions, made possible by cryogenics using helium to cool their system to temperatures close to absolute zero. Quantum computing relies on qubits, which must operate in an environment virtually free of heat and interference. Cryogenics, particularly cooling systems powered by helium, are critical to maintaining these fragile quantum states. Without helium, these quantum states, and the machines that rely on them, wouldn't exist. 2025, declared the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology, marks a global inflection point. Smart Capital understands that investing in helium supports the foundational infrastructure enabling next-generation computing, global security, and scientific innovation. Quantum computing is fast emerging as the next battleground for global technological leadership, and cryogenics is the enabler. With a focus on secure, transparent jurisdictions like the US and Greenland, Pulsar is positioned where it matters most. On May 23rd, we took a deep dive on how Trump's circa $600 billion Middle East deals would signal potential surge in U.S. demand for critical raw materials. The deal includes major partnerships with NVIDIA, Amazon, and others to develop an AI corridor across the Middle East, an initiative that will hinge on U.S. manufacturing expertise to supply the advanced hardware, infrastructure, and innovation needed to power the region's technological ambitions. With global helium demand projected to double by 2035, domestic AI infrastructure, which relies heavily on helium, faces a set of compounding challenges: rising costs, geopolitical bottlenecks, and the reality that 95% of the world's helium is extracted as a byproduct of natural gas. Together, these pressures are driving a rapidly emerging structural supply risk, with helium scarcity moving steadily to the forefront. With institutional interest accelerating and federal attention now turning toward domestic resilience, it is becoming clear those already invested in Pulsar Helium are part of a rare cohort, not merely early, but visionary. To finish the month, we took a look at how getting satellites into space takes significant quantities of helium. SpaceX's expansion of its Starlink mega-constellation continues at pace. Over the weekend, another 23 satellites were launched into low Earth orbit, pushing the active total past 7,000, and moving the network closer to its ambitious target of 42,000 satellites. Helium plays a critical, if often overlooked, role throughout a satellite's journey from production to orbit. It's indispensable in spaceflight, used as an inert purge gas for rocket engines to prevent combustion risks and to pressurize fuel tanks after propellant is depleted, maintaining structural integrity. It's also essential in cryogenic cooling systems, satellite electronics, and the precision manufacturing of space-grade components. Put simply, no helium, no launch. While headlines focus on rocket launches and orbital breakthroughs, a quieter but equally critical story is unfolding here on Earth: the rising demand for helium and other strategic raw materials. Without a stable supply of these inputs, U.S. leadership in the global space economy risks being undermined. This challenge is amplified by the country's growing reliance on helium sourced from geopolitically unstable or export-sensitive regions, a growing concern for an industry that depends on consistent, jurisdictionally secure supply chains. Should helium availability become constrained, the launch cadence of satellite constellations like Starlink could stall. But the consequences wouldn't end there. From semiconductor fabrication and quantum R&D to medtech cryogenics and renewable energy systems, many of America's most advanced industries rely on the very same helium that quietly keeps the space economy afloat. From national security to economic resilience, helium is no longer a niche industrial gas. It's a critical enabler of the global space economy. Smart capital is increasingly recognizing its strategic importance, and the race to secure reliable supply is well underway. To read the full articles, please visit pulsarhelium.com.